The rise of the entitled. Why young adults today lack work ethic. And cut. Hey everybody, this is Beast. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something that's, just a little bit over the top. And just try and give some kind of insight. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. So today we're going to talk about the rise of, the explosion of entitlement and people that have been, entitled young adults that basically have no work ethic. And if you're here just to listen to what I'm saying, I'm also going to give some tips on how to be able to increase your work ethic so that it's not so bad every time you decide that you want to, work. So, in my house, I have young adults that really don't want to work. They don't want to work. They don't want to work a full-time job. They live with me. Now, if this was back in the 80s, would be pretty much non-existent. I would say 95% of us back in the 80s at 16 had plenty of work ethic. If mom and dad said mow the lawn, we'd be out there mowing the lawn. If mom and dad said chop the wood, go chop the wood. If mom and dad said, and half of us never received even an allowance. We never got an allowance. When we wanted to go out on Friday night, maybe mom and dad will throw a $10 bill in our pocket. But I would say generally, most of us didn't have an allowance. We just worked because, we went out and we were able to go out and do things. Now today, the work ethic for young adults is pretty much non-existent. It's hard. It's extremely hard for even to get my adult daughter to do the dishes, let alone my son to do the same. The only thing that they'll be more than willing to do is just take the garbage out. So, how is this happening? Well, unfortunately, most of it lies within the parent. I am basically the sole breadwinner of the house. I pay pretty much most of the bills. Most of the bills are paid. Everything is taken care of and it's basically on my shoulders. So I work long days, I'm hardly home. That leaves the mother. Well, the mom doesn't want to do, most of the time we're not, clean the house. When I get home, I clean the house. But part of it is my fault because I'm not pressuring or pushing anybody else to do that. And because my finances have been so tight, I can't give, I can't throw a $20 bill their way for an allowance. So that really puts everything into a bind. Now the hard part is I try and get them to mow the lawn. Now if you imagine my lawn is probably 30 feet long by about 10 feet wide. That's about the patch of lawn. It would take me literally a month to get them to mow it. So most of the time I just go out and just do it myself. It's faster than trying to pull their leg to make them do it. So the thing is, work ethic starts from the person that is trying to teach them responsibility. Now, my son has work ethic in certain areas, but not in others. My daughter, I don't think she has any at all, but maybe someday I'll be able to eventually get her to see, because of her situation that she's in, that she needs to build some kind of work ethic so that we can be able to, so she can be able to survive. Now, my son's work ethic is basically, if you got him to sit at a table and You have a junk drawer that's filled with push pins, pennies, marbles, let's throw in another item, paper clips. And you have to sort all 3 of those into 4 different boxes. And I tell him you got to go ahead and do that. Now this is a task that'll probably only take maybe 2 hours if he did a lot of work. I mean, if he worked really hard to get it done. And well, the thing is, he'll work on it for about 15 minutes, and it'll be put away. And then I'd ask him the next day, and he wouldn't even touch it. 3 days later, I can get him to work on it for another 10 minutes. Until I blow my top and I start screaming at him and say, get that stuff done. And then, boom, eventually I get it done. Now, my son, on the other hand, will actually have stronger work ethic if I gave him a shovel and told him to dig a 40-foot ditch to put a water pipe in. If I handed him a chainsaw and said, cut that log up, he'd cut the log up. So there's different aspects of work ethic that my son has, but it's not consistent. Now, I believe that technology is actually, partially at fault with this, but I'm also thinking that most people that live in an apartment dwelling are failing to teach some of this work ethic. But the other part of it is I believe I did another video about kids playing outside. Should be able to look through my video history, you'll probably find that. And I think this is probably the biggest issue with work ethic, is most kids are indoors. They're going to play video games when they want to watch video games. They're going to watch TV when they want to watch TV. And they become entitled. If you have a helicopter parent that's doing their homework for them, there you go. That's the big problem. Is we are not teaching or educating our kids enough, and when they turn into young adults, they're set up for failure. But those that still push and say, well, you know what? You're outside. No tablet. No TV. Go outside. But I'm gonna be bored. Okay, you're gonna be bored. Give them 2 or 3 days sitting outside and they're gonna figure out something to do. They're gonna mope, they're gonna sit in their chair. As a matter of fact, I had a friend of mine that had a 8-year-old kid, and well, the kid turned 8, and they got tired of him not picking up his room, not helping out around the house. He was always on his tablet, he was always on the Xbox, he was just zoned out from the whole world. When they bought him bicycles, they bought him drums, nothing worked. And we got to sitting around talking about it, and I said, I think I made a big mistake giving my daughter and son video games and tablets, and well, I think they never had a chance to be creative. So basically what they did was they said, okay, you know what, we're going to take it away from him for 3 weeks and see what happens. So they took his tablet away, they took his TV away, they took his phone away, and 3 weeks began. It was the toughest thing in the world for that parent to do, because they were basically watching their kid suffer. So the first 2 or 3 days, the kid threw temper tantrums. He got really upset with his parents. He moped around the house. He laid around on the couch. He kept exclaiming he was bored. And it basically drove these parents nuts. About the 4th and 5th day, he went out and he just did something, and, you know, he played around in the yard. He threw the ball for the dog and swang on the swing set for a little bit, and still mopey. Days 6 and 7, he actually cleaned his room. He thought, well, you know, maybe if I clean my room, I'm going to get my stuff back. So he cleaned his room. He went to school, and then he came home and he sat down and he did his homework. This was the first time that he went to school, came home, sat down, did his homework, and went into his room and made sure it was cleaner. Now he's trying to get his electronics back. So this is the, okay, I'll butter up stage. Let's see what I can do to get my stuff back. But parents were holding strong. This was no easy feat. So basically, he tried that and it didn't work. So Wednesday he said, well, you know what? I'm going to make sure I get the dishes done. I'm going to clean the backyard and I'm going to mow it. This is an 8-year-old kid. He knows how to mow the lawn. He's been showed how to mow the lawn. So he went into the backyard, he cleaned it all up, and he mowed the lawn, and he mowed the front lawn, and it was all done before the parents got home. That night he did the dishes, he had to, I was done. And, well, Thursday and Friday he did the same thing, and it just didn't work, and he's really confused now. So he just got bored, and then he started playing on his drums. He said, maybe if I raise enough racket, then maybe I can get my stuff back. No. Dad actually walked in and showed him how to properly drum on the drums, because his dad used to play drums. And he started to like it. And then he started riding his bike and playing with the dog, and then he started discovering how to climb a tree. And then that whole next week, he was discovering new things. Take the broom and he'd sweep underneath the carport, or we'd help clean up the living room, or grab the vacuum cleaner and vacuum the floor. And he actually found a puzzle that was sitting inside of a closet that had never been opened. And he did a puzzle. So after week 3 was all done, week 4 came by and he never asked for the tablet or his computer or his Xbox. And it baffled his parents. Said, well, let's see how long this lasts. About 8 weeks, and he comes up and he says, you guys still have my electronics? I haven't seen them in a long time. And they said, well, yeah, they've been sitting in your room on your desk for the last 5 weeks. We gave them back to you like what we promised. Oh, okay. I said, I'll wait until it's raining outside. You know, and I'm having too much fun. And what had happened during this entire course of this lesson was he had 2 or 3 other friends that were seeing him do the same thing. He'd ask his friends, hey, you want to go play some basketball? Or you want to ride bikes with his friends? And he started disconnecting friends. So it started becoming contagious. And he regularly mowed the lawn and stuff like that, and Dad started giving him an allowance, and he started making a little bit of extra money. And he started learning. And this is how work ethic is built. You take away some that they're not being able to be productive or create or using their mind, they're not going to end up with anything. But work ethic is trained, it's learned, it's not the end of the world. So how many of you guys out there have built any kind of work ethic or have none at all? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd like to know. Also, again, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. I'd like to see some of the comments in there about what you guys think and what, I mean, how you guys have built work ethics, so I can be able to maybe use them in a future video. So, on this note, like I normally say, let's just keep on rocking.